The stickman appears, sitting in front of a bright screen, his eyes wide as if staring at a mysterious portal. Colorful graphics rise and fall at an absurd speed, as if they were a roller coaster designed to overturn any illusion of security. He takes a deep breath and thinks, "It's not time yet. I need to wait for the perfect moment to invest." This phrase echoes in his head like a mantra, but loaded with paralysis. The problem, that perfect moment never comes. There's always a new excuse. Emerging from the news, global crisis, close elections, skyrocketing interest rates, inflation that erodes, distant wars that seem to affect even his coffee. The stickman opens his notebook and writes in large letters among dozens of pasted post-its, WAIT. It is as if each page were a certification of your infinite weight. His life turns into a tiring, repetitive, almost comical loop if it weren't tragic. While he waits, time runs like sand, slipping through his fingers. Friends have already bought small properties, some have risked opening businesses, others have started discreetly in investment funds or stocks that have been growing slowly. The stickman observes everything from a distance, but does not participate. There, sitting, he continues with his finger on the button, his gaze fixed on the screen that never stops blinking. It seems about to act, but it never acts. Courage disappears whenever the market sneezes. The dream of investing, which once seemed bright and promising, is slowly unraveling, becoming a silent nightmare. Because, at the end of the day, the clock never stops. And every second of waiting isn't just wasted time, it's an opportunity that never comes back. He always imagined that one day, with the right investment, he would have freedom. The idealized scene in the stickman's head was simple: work less, have a reserve growing alone, be able to choose where and how to live. But in practice, this freedom never came close. Instead of acting, he stuck to well-rehearsed excuses he repeated as if they were mantras of protection. After the election I start, when interest rates go down. Then yes, when I have more money, it will be perfect. When the market calms down, I enter without fear. The problem, this list never ended. It only gained new chapters with each new headline. Financial freedom, which should be a promise of the future, seemed more and more like a train that passed through the station without stopping. He always arrived a minute late, as if he were that passenger who runs, but sees the door close right in his face. Meanwhile, the other stickmen in his life embarked quietly, each with his own investment backpack. Some entered the simplicity of fixed income, safe, step by step. Others risked actions and learned from falls. Some even explored real estate funds, creating a discreet but constant passive income, and he was still standing on the platform, convinced that it was not the right time. Always, watching the carriages move away, always convincing himself that the next train would be better, more comfortable, safer. But the truth is that there is never a perfect wagon. Freedom never comes to those who confuse security with paralysis. Basically, waiting too long was not caution, it was just fear disguised as prudence. Now the stickman finds himself trapped in a bizarre spectacle, almost as if he had bought a ticket to a circus of the absurd. On stage, a group of experts in suits and ties take turns with apocalyptic or overly optimistic predictions. One shouts that the dollar will skyrocket, another guarantees that it will plummet. One announces that the stock market is about to melt. Another claims that it will explode upwards like a rocket. The stickman sitting in the audience is hypnotized, his eyes glazed over, waiting for someone to finally say the phrase he so longs to hear. It's now. This is the perfect time. But no one says, and when they do, they never agree. The worst thing is to realize that each specialist says something different, always with conviction, but without ever delivering the certainty he is looking for. The show repeats itself night after night, and the stickman remains stuck in his chair as a faithful spectator of this endless spectacle. The absurdity is clear. There will never be this magical consensus. There will never be a date marked on the calendar that says in large letters, "This is the perfect time to invest." Desperate, the stickman even sets up a small altar in front of the calendar, lights candles, closes his eyes, asks for a miraculous sign. But nothing happens. The only thing that reveals itself is the time passing. The show of the absurd has no end because the perfect moment is an illusion created to keep spectators eternally stuck in place. And if you don't want to be just another stickman frozen in this theater of waiting, subscribe to the channel right now. Here, we show that acting is always better than standing still, waiting for the play to end. The stickman finally gathers the courage to light the first spark. He holds the match with trembling hands, ready to strike. But before he can, a voice appears in the background. It's going to be a crisis. Scared, he immediately blacks out. Take a deep breath, try again. This time, another shouts, "It's going to go up a lot. It's too risky." He hesitates, paralyzes, and the flame never gets to be born. Each attempt becomes just another fiasco. Every little spark that could illuminate the beginning of his journey is stifled before it even shines. The dream of becoming an investor is slowly dying, not because of the market, but because the stickman never allows the flame to grow. The real enemy isn't volatile graphics or alarmist news. It's fear disguised as prudence. It is the belief that always being waiting is the safest way to act. But security without action is just paralysis by another name. While he continues with the matchbox, intact, colleagues who started with little r already reaping small results. Some made mistakes, lost here and there, but they learned. Others have made modest but consistent gains. More than money, they all accumulated experience. Something that the stickman doesn't have because he never even scratched the real match. He remains there, sitting in front of the wood, surrounded by opportunities, but with the fire eternally extinguished. What about you? Have you lit your spark yet? Or are you still saving the matches? Leave it in the comments. What was your biggest excuse for not starting to invest until today? One day, the stickman wakes up and has a bitter revelation. He has become just another faithful subscriber to procrastination hell. Every single day, the cell phone vibrates with notifications of economic news, expert forecasts, graph-filled reports, and complicated analysis. He reads everything, takes notes, convinces himself that he is preparing, and yet the promise is repeated like a scratched record. Tomorrow, I'll start. But tomorrow never comes. This cycle turns into a torturous routine. Too much information, constant fear, absolute paralysis. The stickman consumes content non-stop, but does not act. It's as if you paid a monthly subscription for an exclusive anxiety service where the only benefit delivered is the feeling of being late. Hell isn't losing money on a bad investment. Real hell is never even getting in the game. Tired, he opens his investment portfolio in the app. The screen glows white, absolute emptiness. No assets, no income, just digital silence. Then he looks at his busy schedule of colorful reminders with phrases such as, "Wait for election," "Check economic scenario," "Analyze interest rates." Everything organized, everything planned, ... and absolutely nothing accomplished. It is at this moment that the penny drops. The biggest cost he paid was not financial. He did not lose capital, but he lost something that he can never recover: time. And this one, no investment in the world can pay back. There comes a time when reality collapses like an old building without maintenance. The stickman, now with wrinkles and thinning hair, spends his days looking at the calendar, almost mesmerized by the passing of the leaves. Every time he turns a page, he realizes that not only the months are gone, but also his opportunities. Retirement is approaching like a runaway train. The bills increase in number and value, while the dreams that once seemed so possible shrink until they fit in a forgotten drawer. It is at this point that he finally understands the truth he has always avoided facing. Not investing is also a decision, and probably the worst of all. Because while waiting for the perfect moment, time, patient, and merciless, did the reverse work. It eroded his ability to build wealth, weakened his power of choice, and silently stole the future he had so much envisioned. The stickman realizes that the final drop doesn't happen because the market was cruel or because the global economy played against him. The tragedy did not come from a crisis, but from something much simpler and more devastating. Constant indecision. He didn't fall by daring too much. He didn't lose everything by being reckless. On the contrary, he fell precisely because he did not dare anything. His whole life he spent on the edge of the trampoline, looking at the water, calculating the depth, waiting for a signal, and when he finally decided to jump, time had already drained the pool. Now, in front of the mirror, the stickman finally faces himself. On the one hand, the old habit of waiting for the perfect moment, which has never come and probably will never come. On the other, the uncomfortable but liberating truth: the best time to invest was yesterday, and the second best is today. He realizes that the choice was never about predicting the market, guessing crises, or finding the magic day when everything would be stable. The choice has always been about courage, about putting fear aside and starting small with what is already within reach. The stickman takes a deep breath and understands that there will never be total peace. There will never be headlines saying, "Absolute safety guaranteed." The world will continue to be chaotic. The graphs will continue to rise and fall, and opinions will continue to differ. But that doesn't matter. The future does not belong to those who stand on the platform, waiting for a train that will never arrive. The future belongs to those who get into the first available car and continue their journey, even without knowing what each turn of the path will be like. And that's when the question comes straight back to you. Will you continue to subscribe to the hell of eternal waiting, trapped in the illusion of security that never comes? Or will you take the first step now, even if small, even if imperfect? The stickman has already understood the answer. What? About you? If you choose to take action, the next step is simple. Click now on the video that is appearing on the screen. He will show you exactly how to turn this decision into real action. Don't wait any longer, because time waits for no one.